stood up and was counted, stood up and was counted.
Never faltered in all these years.
Hello, my name's Rebecca Seymour and I'm the creative producer for Celebrating Age Wiltshire. The project that you're about to see the culmination of is the Jubilee Chronicles, and it's a creative project for older people around the county of Wiltshire. Working with Age UK Wiltshire, Celebrating Age Wiltshire, worked with 10 different areas around the county and worked with older people in those 10 locations, and visual artists, musicians, storytellers and poets worked with those people to understand and hear about their stories and their memories around the 70 years of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, starting right at the beginning and going right through to the 70 years. So they've shared memories and stories, and those creative artists have then gone away and worked on those stories to produce the work that you are about to see and hear in this film. It's been an amazing project, and I hope you enjoy witnessing the work that they've produced.
So this is a song composed by a group of people in Malmesbury. We were talking about their experiences of lockdown and how long it had seemed since they were able to come out and spend time together. And they were also talking about the fact that they'd read lots of books, and one of the people had read a book called The Tunnel of Love, and that became the title of the song and the inspiration for the song, which is called Through the Tunnel of Love. Through the tunnel of love, looking for hope and joy. Through the tunnel of love and out into the light. Flames that lit the sky, lives that have gone by. Through the tunnel of love, out into the light again. We go out into the light again. In my mind, I see a change, better days for you and me. In my mind, we roamed the fields, we were free, we were free. Through the tunnel of love, looking for hope and joy. Through the tunnel of love and out into the light. Flames that lit the sky, lives that have gone by. Through the tunnel of love and out into the light again. We come out into the light again. Day after day, always a queen, always there, always serene. Through the bright times and the bad, a better future to be had. Through the tunnel of love, looking for hope and joy. Through the tunnel of love and out into the light. Flames that lit the sky, lives that have gone by. Through the tunnel of love, out into the light again. We come out into the light again. Now is the time to be free, celebrate the Jubilee. Now is the time
to be free. Celebrate the Jubilee. Now is the time to be free. Celebrate the Jubilee. Through the tunnel of love, looking for hope and joy. Through the tunnel of love and out into the light. Flames that lit the sky, lives that have gone by. Through the tunnel of love and out into the light again. We come out into the light again. We come out into the light again.
My name is Johnny Fluffypunk, poet, and these are a few poems from the Jubilee Chronicles. And this first poem is a group poem from the Corsham Lunch Club. It's called In June of 1952. Marilyn was 6 and one of 5 in a little rented cottage with a well. And that day was the first that anyone in that room had ever seen a television. And nobody spoke, and everyone listened. And Joe went up there to the smoke. They'd heard all sorts was going on. They went to see the decorations. And Monica's name was pulled out of a hat to go represent her Baptist church. And she spent the night sat up in a chair, and at 4 a.m, she made her way there to the front outside Buckingham Palace. And Julie down in Wellington says all the local kids were given a party in a garage, and for each of them a coronation mug. She had hers years. And Anne, she shrugs and says that though she got the chance to go and saw the Queen, in fact she went to see the boys. 14 she was, her eye was keen, her mind on other things than coronations. And for Annette, well, royalty fell half a world away. They'd no TV, no Flushing Loo. Out in the sticks, it felt like you were in a city each and every time you just went down to Corsham. And Derek, youngest of 11, all mod cons in the council new build homes going up in Potley, where Mr. Arthur did his rounds, lighting lamps as darkness fell across the little metal coronation coach sitting on the windowsill. And Susan, she was just a baby. And Michael too, his dad a Polish soldier, settled down in Wiltshire. And Bob, he spent the coronation day off school playing golf near Glasgow. The other kids, they did the thing they always did when something big was in the news, and went down to the TV shop to watch it through the window. And Pat's dad rented a telly, which made her mum get mad. And Anne, the same age as her Madge, her husband met the future Queen as she was on her way to treetops. The king with just a few more days to live. And Betty was out in Egypt, a corporal in the RAF, and John was in the children's home, out of bed at 6:30 for boiled eggs and toast. Then all the kids, they watched it all, from start to end on a big TV that someone kind had lent them for the special day. And this was all a life ago, when we were young and things were all ahead of us. And in these little corners of the world, June 1952 unfurled itself, a flag that flutters faintly now in the memory. Okay, and this is a little anecdote poem from Karen in Corsham. There were a few little pieces that didn't quite fit into the big poem, but I felt were worthy of recording. So this is called simply Camilla Parker Bowles. Well, he was clearly not 16, more like 12, I'd say, the day he popped in to buy some fags. "They're for my mum," he said, but didn't say just who mum was. And anyway, the law's the law, so I say no, and off he goes. Then she comes down, all put out, 'cause she's had to leave the house to buy her smokes herself. And when she leaves, some bloke gasps and says, "Do you know who that was?"
So this song was written by the Harnham Day Centre in Salisbury, and the group talked a lot about a variety of different experiences, and we decided that the song should really represent that variety of experience and that full range of emotion. So we decided to create a tapestry which has a small part of every person's experience, and we talked about memories from significant Jubilee years. So these are the memories that have formed the song. I was asked, particularly because at Harnham Day Centre they have a piano, I was asked to write this for the piano, but I was also specifically asked to include a triangle part and perhaps a maracas. So I'm being ably assisted today by somebody who is going to create a wonderful, wonderful moment in this song. So listen out for those. This song is called Let Your Smile Shine Through.
Trip down the Rhine, a parting goodbye, listening to the coronation on the radio, a new house, new neighbours, a 25th anniversary when he came home, 3 sheets to the wind, carry on to the end of the road. Don't give up, whatever life throws at you, keep smiling, happiness will follow you, be happy, let your smile shine. Surprise meeting in HMV. It took me to the proms with a chap I met in Salisbury. A corpse lost in the snow, a flag at half-mast, challenging a champion in a tennis arena. I was out of my depth, carry on to the end of the road. Don't give up, whatever life throws at you, keep smiling and happiness will follow you. Be happy, let your smile shine through. Keep fit class at the bowling club in Alderbury. Peeping at the window, they were trying to see what they could see. A date for a dance, we got in a tangle. I left my red scooter behind when we came back from Germany. Carry on to the end of the road. Don't give up, whatever life throws at you. Keep smiling and happiness will follow you. Be happy, let your smile shine through. Carry on to the end of the road. Don't give up, whatever life throws at you. Keep smiling and happiness will follow you. Be happy, let your smile shine through. All the way. Keep smiling to the end of the road. All the way. Keep smiling to the end of the road. All the way. Keep smiling to the end of the road. All the way. Keep smiling to the end of the road.
My name is Saili Katewe. I was working with Trowbridge Future at Seymour Hub, and this is our poem, These Our Jubilee Years. We are the moments we share. Celebration, grief, glory, revelations that stand the test of memory. Family trees are filled with hope and hardship, and from wherever it started to yesterday, we can count the passage of time in family names. Somewhere in a family home, a hero's face is frozen in a photograph. The old guard built his spirit in a private coronation, in a rain-beaten town, in prayer, on the communal will to build on acts of service. The past deserves its roses. In this garden of possibilities, the story keepers carved up England and settled celebration in city parks, watching the topography of joy outlive the architecture. Look at what we've built on the backs of perseverance, on the sweat of a beaded brow, in the cadence of laughter. The fruit least likely to succeed are the seeds of bad intention. These, our Jubilee years, are the product of good faith and the honest pursuit of happiness. Memory and time are measured in the company we've kept, in the memories they'll never forget, and may we never forget the jubilation of Sunday dinners and family reunions that defined a generation.
This is a song composed by a group in Cologne, and they started out by sharing their memories of the coronation. There was a great deal of love and respect for the Queen, and then some memories of what it was like to be young in those days, and some thoughts on how we can take those experiences into our lives today. And this is called She Stood Up and Was Counted. She stood up and was counted, held us together over all these years. Stood up and was counted, smoothed some feathers, cried some tears, never faltered in all these years. There was a moment when a young life changed, promises made in 53. A brave girl becomes a queen. 12 people round a tiny TV screen. Thousands of people stand in line. Tea and cakes turned to ale and wine. Stood up and was counted, held us together over all these years. Stood up and was counted, smoothed some feathers, cried some tears, never faltered in all these years. We all need to adapt and change. We all need to overcome. We never know what the future might hold. We'll need our courage as it all unfolds. We turn around and hope to find a charming prince 2 steps behind. Stood up and was counted, held us together over all these years. Stood up and was counted, smoothed some feathers, cried some tears, never faltered in all these years. WLNM 23.
WSEO 26.3. WSEP 724. She stood up and was counted, held us together over all these years. Stood up and was counted, smoothed some feathers, cried some tears, never faltered in all these years. She stood up and was counted. She stood up and was counted. Stood up and was counted. Never faltered in all these years.
Visiting Mere Daycare Centre was a real joy and privilege. Stepping inside the building felt like entering someone's home, and the people who gather there, the guests, the staff, and the volunteers, are all friends, sharing laughter, stories, and experiences. The song that the group has written really reflects them as songwriters and also reflects the workshops that we've shared together. This song is called Mere Memories.
Looking from the window, what do I see? All the vibrant colors staring back at me. This bright world around us, full of memories. Feel its hope and comfort, the better things are free. Blues and whites up in the sky, finding shapes as clouds go by. Dainty snowdrops, bluebells bright, colors make me feel good and look forward to happy times. Looking from the window, what do I see? All the vibrant colors sharing back at me. This bright world around us, full of memories. Feel its hope and comfort, the better things are free. Blooming rhododendron flowers, starhead picnics lasting hours, violets that signal spring, family memories that they bring. Looking from the window, what do I see? All the vibrant colors staring back at me. This bright world around us, full of memories. Feel its hope and comfort, the better things are free. Daffodils bright as the sun, yellows and golds for everyone. Roses pink and roses red, imagining summers that lie ahead. Looking from the window, what do I see? All the vibrant colors staring back at me. This bright world around us, full of memories. Feel its hope and comfort, the better things
things are free.
Pretty pansies in multicolour, cheerful faces seem familiar. A rainbow carpet all around, all this joy in nature that can be found. Looking from the window, what do I see? All the vibrant colours staring back at me. This bright world around us, full of memories. Feel its hope and comfort, the better things are free.
In the lead up to the Jubilee weekend, a handful of lovely ladies and one gent gathered around a table in Melksham with a local artist and began to chat and share stories, memories and recollections from the Queen's significant Jubilee years of 1952, 1977 and 2012. The real joy, though, came from these everyday people reminiscing about more ordinary, everyday moments, more personal moments, the group's lived experiences, their luggage, from a lifetime's journey sparked with fascination and gratitude. They learnt that Jenny's travels as a BA air stewardess had likely taken her to as many countries as the Queen had visited. Helen shared how she regularly rode her beloved horse around Windsor Great Park. Rose was accomplished dressmaker and passionate trail walker. Sue still loves to dance, whether it be Morris, ballroom or silver ballet. They listened to stories of success, loss, self-discovery and good old-fashioned fun times. They loved the same musicians, wore similar fashions and navigated the world as it chopped and changed over the course of a 70-year reign. The Wiltshire Jubilee Chronicles group offers you 3 collective cases of lives being lived. Lifetime luggage accompanied by personal passports with a mix of words and collage that captures a bit of that life. They ask the viewer to feel free to flick through the pages, and after being displayed in Melksham Library and several other venues, these passports in progress will be returned to the participants so they can add more details as the mood takes them. How can you capture a lifetime in just a few mornings? So many stories and so much still to share.
Right, okay, so this next one is from Ember Court. Ember Court housing in Warminster. And this again is a group poem from Ember Court, and it's the reflections of Anne, May, Michael, Joan, Jean, Maureen, Helen, Barbara, Diana, Jean, Marion, Pip and John in the year that she became Queen. One was in Hereford with no running water or lecky, and one was a Hartlepool girl just transferred to Surrey. And some were in London where the king lay in state, and 2 paid him a visit, braving crowds and great queues that got quieter the closer they got. One had a dad play for Millwall in England. One had been married for only 1 year. One remembers the walk over Northumberland fields to wave at her wildly as her train drew near. And one was in Wales and just the same age as the lady who steps up to become the Queen, and her mum makes her dresses of just the same colour and cut as whatever is worn when Her Majesty's seen. From Portsmouth and Oxford and Guildford and Wirral, from Newton by Sea and Bridgend and Bath, and one moved so often it's hard to remember, all stepping out at the start of their path, finding their feet in a world scarred from bombing, with blitzes and searchlights still bright in their heads. One fished the canal and landed a rifle. One lived with her gran now her parents were dead. And there were snowy winters and ration books and water boiled in backyard coppers. There were shrapnel collections and still warm memories of wet nights dripping in Anderson shelters. There were Navy men's daughters and butlers' sons, school-age children and newlyweds, with the flickering magic of early TV or tuned into the pomp on crystal sets. And you helped out each other and talked to each other, and you might not have much, but you didn't complain. And the world, it has changed out of all recognition, and these lives have been lived in the arc of a rain. Okay, so yeah, that was a poem. All these people now living in Warminster, coming from all over. And here is a couple of, again, little short anecdote poems that didn't quite fit into the bigger picture. So this is by Jean from Ember Court, The New Queen Amongst Her Subjects, Warminster Army Camp, early 1950s. All the soldiers had to paint the stones white, and when she was on site, it wasn't allowed for any of us workers to be seen. We wasn't allowed to leave the site, but we had to make ourselves scarce so she didn't have to see us. And when she left the camp, they came and smashed the toilet pan she'd used. Right, and final one, On the Throne. And this is by May from Ember Court. I remember being mesmerised by her beautiful dress, by the handsome prints, and I begged my parents not to throw the paper away. I wanted to gaze at it all again and again, which was fine for a fortnight, till I went to the toilet and found my paper all cut into squares for you-know-what. And I spent ages trying to find a piece to use without her lovely face on.
So this song was written by a group of people from Amesbury, and we met at Evergreen Court Cafe, and we were exploring Amesbury's and the group's connections to the military and to royalty. And many of the people, we tried to find a common experience that we all shared, and it came down to the idea of family and things being passed down through generations, and the idea of nature and nurture. And we talked a lot around the Queen's Jubilee about the idea of loyalty and service, and things that carry on every day but are still very important to us. So this song is called Made to Last.
Chest of drawers that your mother restored one summer. The chipped china cup tucked away in the back of a cupboard. The everyday, ordinary, nothing extraordinary, they were made to last. Charming and shabby, passed down through the family, memories of the past. The clock that ticks faster at 25 past the hour. The vase that together many times. Priceless and timeless, you've been there regardless and served us through the years. Loyal, resilient, a permanent witness, you were made to last.
This is a song composed by a really large group in Royal Wootton Bassett, and many of the words are just spoken because that was the way that we captured so many different memories. There were so many links between these people, many of which they hadn't discovered until we all got together and tried to make up a song. Some of them were from the same town in northern England and hadn't realized, and so it's a mixture of noticing that in some ways they're like Dolly Mixtures, different colors perhaps and different shapes, but definitely all out of the same jar. So it's called Dolly Mixtures. Dolly Mixtures, we all blend in. Dolly Mixtures, it ain't no sin to remember we're out of the same jar, to remember we've come so far. I danced at the Cavern to the Quarrymen before they were the Beatles. I'm only 29, plus that. Dolly Mixtures, we all blend in. Dolly Mixtures, it ain't no sin to remember we're out of the same jar, to remember we've come so far. Dolly Mixtures. We were Ipswich girls, but in Nigeria, you get 6 inches of rain, and it was gone in an hour. Oh, the memories, some of them gone. The times we stayed, the times we moved on. It ain't no sin to remember. It ain't no sin to remember. My granddad bought our house in 1900, and I still live there today. All the children in my family have been born in this house. Sunderland to South Africa, and all the way back again. It ain't no sin to remember.
1952 was the start of all of my adventures. But then, the war had changed women's lives forever. Dolly Mixtures, we all blend in. Dolly Mixtures, it ain't no sin to remember we're out of the same jar, to remember we've come so far. Dolly Mixtures. I walked 6 miles to watch the Queen on TV. What about all that snow in '63? Dolly Mixtures. It ain't no sin to remember. No, it's no sin to remember. 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 Dolly Mixtures. Now is the time.